Hello, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Okay, this season's been bad. There's no doubt about it. None. And the light behind me is doing crazy things. I've got the tarp from when it rained and all that, so it's bright. Looks like it's like I'm speaking from the heavens or something. It's crazy, but hey, I think if I turn one way or the other, there we go. Then it comes in. Okay, so I guess this is one way to get the scenery right. Otherwise, it goes yeah, it's kind of crazy. I can't figure it out. But anyway, we are in football purgatory for the Dallas Cowboys. We are in drama central. We had Jerry Jones basically saying, "Shut up," to the host on 105 The Fan this morning. That was pretty interesting. We had Stephen Jones saying that, basically he's given the vote of confidence to Mike McCarthy and says, we understand, we have some of the right guys. We have a lot of people that are hurt and so on, but we believe in them. And I think what they're looking at is, I think they've come to the realization that it's not about this year now. We're looking at the long term, the end goal. You could go through and say, let's trade for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Let's get Earl Thomas. Let's put these guys in here right now and try and get, win a couple of games. But in the grand scheme of things, what is that going to do for you? It's not winning you a Super Bowl this year. It's just feeding the masses. It's kind of like Marie Antoinette saying, let them eat cake. You give them a little something to kind of calm them down. But the way you honestly have to look at this, and I had a discussion with some other people over here before, that if the Cowboys look bad against the Washington football team, which we did, then you have to start looking at it and saying, more than likely, we're playing the string out just to see where we end. And it's a lost year. And at that point, what you really want to do is try and set yourself up for next year. So enter yesterday, finding out that Emerson Griffin and Don Terry Poe and Daryl Worley were possibly tradable. And so you start thinking about that. Reality is I don't think anybody's going to trade for those guys. I just don't. I mean, they were all free agents. Emerson Griffin, people could have signed him during the summer without having to give up any draft capital. Maybe you get lucky and somebody says, we need some more depth on our team or a little extra edge rusher to try and make a playoff run. And maybe you get a seventh for Emerson Griffin. I don't see anything for Worley or Don Terry Poe. But the message out there may not be per se just about them. It may be letting people know we're actually open for business. And you call and say, hey, I know you're interested in trading Emerson Griffin. Is there anybody else you might be interested in trading? Because we might have an interest in somebody else. And the question is, would the Dallas Cowboys listen to the offers? There are a couple guys you look on the team and say, yeah, we'd like to have them, but we don't want to take that kind of money-wise. We don't want to pay that, you look at D-Law, it's too much. It's too much money for D-Law. So nobody wants to take on that contract, and people will say, just trade him. You're not going to get value for him. You're just not unless you're going to say, we'll eat most of the contract. It's just not. But for example, somebody like Jalen Smith could be. His contract, $9 million, I think, next year, is doable. He's still young. He's leading the NFL in tackles. But, part of that is skewed because the Cowboys defense is always on the field. If you're on another team that controls the clock and things like that, you're not getting that many opportunities. And so the old adage from Doc Walker, I didn't bust a grape with you. I can certainly not bust a grape without you. And the Cowboys could look at this and say, you know what? Let's fix the locker room. Let's pare down some of the salaries, because if you get rid of Emerson Griffin, if you were able to trade him, basically you'd save $3 million, half of his salary on this year's cap. and let's get as many draft picks as we can. And if we can trade people, even if you got, okay, let's say you got 2 7s or something like that. Maybe you take 2 7s and a 6 and you get into the 5th or something like that. You never know what you can do. Having more picks is always better, especially when you look at a team that has a lot of holes and a lot of needs. We got holes on the offensive line that we need to plug up. You should get Lyle Collins, and, you find Tyler Badaz is pretty good. Maybe Connor McGovern's trial by fire, that maybe by next year he's beefed up, and learn more, and maybe he's capable, and maybe you get, at least a half a season out of Tyron Smith while you draft, the replacement for him, that you start getting guys in there. And maybe on the defensive line, the experiment of signing older veterans is not working, that you really get a collection of studs on the defensive line, and you come to the realization that you truly do need a safety and cornerback help. And so you're basically rebuilding a lot of places. And the thing that has not worked for the Dallas Cowboys ever is a bunch of free agents. So with Stephen Jones saying we're headed in the right direction, that headed for that right direction might be a top 5 draft pick to fix the team. Because think about it like this. Nobody wants to have a bad season. Nobody wants to go in the tank. But you start thinking about, if we have a top 5 draft pick, guess what? If you got a top 5 draft pick, our second round pick is 37th. Oh, that's almost like a first round pick. Okay. And then, if your second round pick is 37, guess what? Your third round pick is 69th. 3 picks in the top 70? Oh, and you got another third round pick. You got 4 picks in the top 100. There's a lot of holes you can plug. There's a lot of holes you can plug with 4 picks in the first round. And let's say the team, say you get the 3rd pick or the 4th pick, and one of these teams out there says, we need to get that 3rd pick so we can get a quarterback. And they offer you, hey, we need to move up. Yo, we'll take your number 1. We'll give you our number 1, and we'll give you next year's number 1, and we'll give you a number 2 this year as well. Okay. You dig what I'm saying there? So what we may be realizing is that because it's a new coach, some coaches are able to work with the talent they have, but generally speaking, most coaches like to get their own guys that fit their personnel. And Mike McCarthy probably wants to. I don't think Mike McCarthy was running Jason Garrett's system in Green Bay. I don't know that, but I really just don't think that it is. So if you end up getting rid of the guys that you deem dead weight, or guys that aren't ready to buy into your system this offseason, and you have a boatload of draft picks, now all of a sudden you can start to set this team together, because most pro coaches' contracts are for 5 years. Because in that 5 years, you need to deal with the people that were already there and have a chance to get the attention and get the guys that you need for your system. And if you haven't started winning within 5 years, buddy, you're gone. Actually, 4 years. Buddy, you're gone. Because nobody except the Dallas Cowboys has a coach in the lame duck year. So, yeah, Stephen Jones may be saying exactly what they think. We're headed in the right direction. We're tearing this mother humper down, and we're building for the future. I think Stephen Jones is basically saying we're tanking. All right. Hope you guys are having a great day. As always, there's plenty of drama with the Dallas Cowboys.